And we're live. It's been about 10 years since the last time I had you on this podcast, and you did a split on this table.
I can do it again.
Well, we should do it after, maybe. Yeah,
I can still do the splits. They're great.
Yeah, the split on this table was a big deal, and then Ben Patrick's son took a dump on the table too.
Was that before or after I did the split?
It was many years after.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
because you didn't tell me if anyone took a dump on the table before I did a split on it. I might have chose a different thing. Yeah.
How much do you remember? Do you recall like what you weighed at that time? Because I don't think you went into bodybuilding just yet when I first met you.
I was probably around 230-ish when I came here, 240-ish. But again, I'm 240 again, but I think it's a little more high quality.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little more condensed, a little bit more just developed, mature.
And then like, you know, you're moving your body around in some ways that is, first of all, very unconventional, period.
Yeah.
All the different twists and all the different splits and all the different shit that you're able to do. But then you're also a lot bigger than most people that are. Were you big growing up? Were you thinner growing up?
I was thin. I was skinny. Yeah. I was, I had to build the mass on purpose.
Let's talk about that for a little bit, because I think there's going to be some people listening that want to know how to build some muscle. And you were talking earlier about how it's kind of hard for you to lose muscle mass. So some of the rules that you have followed may not be the exact same for everybody else, but what are some things you did to gain weight? Did you just like start eating a bunch of peanut butter or something?
No.
What'd you do?
Let me give you the medium length version, because I can't give you a short or a long version because long's too long for a podcast. But I got into martial arts when I was younger. And then I got into acrobatic stuff as well. And then I got into strength training because I was smart enough to know that the best athletes in the world do strength training. People that do the acrobatic stuff were like skateboarders back then, where they're just kind of like chucking themselves all the time, you know? So I started doing the weight training. I got addicted to it. I was like, okay, now at first my acrobatics improved a lot from the strength training. But then, now I started
just more explosive and just felt lighter.
Oh, way better. But that only lasted a year because then I started to chase numbers on the lifts. And now it started to work against me. But then I kind of like the combo. I was like, I like deadlifting 500 pounds. I like, doing these heavy lifts, and I like doing the acrobatic stuff. So I carried through with that until my late 20s. And then I had to keep my body weight low because it's like, if you want to be able to jump and be light, do 2 spins in the air with a kick, you can't do that when you're heavy. So I'm intentionally keeping my body weight low despite the weight training and all the stuff. And I knew how to eat well. I was always really focused on diet and reading about that. So in my late 20s, I was like kind of interested. What if I just apply bodybuilding methodology? I didn't do a curl until I was like 28 years old.
Whoa. But you did like some ring stuff. So you did like maybe ring pull-ups. Okay.
Yeah, I was doing. Yeah, I was doing rings in my 23 or 24. I started to add some rings, weighted dips. I saw those as kind of functional. I was choosing like compound lifts that I could supplement. But as far as like straight up isolation work, I didn't touch any of that until my late 20s. And the reason why was just because I wanted to see what would happen if I started to train like a bodybuilder and do all the things they did, and I blew the fuck up real quick. So then I gained like 25 pounds. And then when I'm doing things that I was doing before with an extra 25 pounds of mass, now people are, there's things are going viral.
I think Nsema's had some people in his life that have told him like, you can't do both. You can't be like a really high level bodybuilder and do jujitsu and things of that nature. Did you have people tell you, like that lifting was wrong? Like, did some of your mentors and some of your acrobatic people, did they have, some conjecture against you, weight training and training heavy and stuff and bodybuilding? So
because mostly with the acrobatic stuff, it's just a bunch of kids. So there's no older, wiser people around saying you shouldn't do that. So yeah, that was, a month or so ago. I'm out there.
Dude. It's just so like, okay, you built some of these movement skills before you put on all this size.
Yes, that's important.
But the fact that you can still do that is so fucking awesome. Was it just like maintaining those skills as you kept getting bigger? You just didn't stop doing them? Because I think that's where a lot of people fall short.
Yes, but I did take a break for about 2 or 3 years there, because between 2021 and 2023-ish, I went straight in the bodybuilding phase, started competing for a couple of years. And then when I came back out of it, the moves were pretty rusty. I did lose a lot. I'm getting older. I'm almost 40. So then I had to there's a lot of muscle memory.
Yes.
But it comes back. But that's important. I built the skills before I built the mass. You don't build them both at the same time.
Do you think you could, though?
No, I wouldn't.
Build this? You wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Okay. Why not?
It's periodization.
Yeah.
You know, it's just I hate to use that just as a blanket like
I get what
reason
you're saying.
why, but you build one to the point to where, like, if you're only focused on one thing
Mm-hmm.
instead of 4 things, you're going to be able to get good at that one thing, right?
Yes.
And if you get good enough at it for a while, let's say riding a bicycle is a great example. If you try to learn how to ride a bike when you're 6 or 7 years old and juggle and rope flow and thread the needle, which is a weird jumping move, and do the splits and learn how to
Thread
play
the needle,
guitar.
you jump over like your own hands.
Yes,
or whatever,
how'd you
right?
know that?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, there we go.
Just a weird example popped in my head.
I've been practicing it. No, I'm just kidding.
That's good. But yeah, nobody would ever be able to get all 6 of them at once like that. But if all you had to do is ride a bicycle, and you can still ride a bicycle, right?
Yeah.
Oh, me
I
too.
think I can. Probably.
Yeah, most people
Cue
can.
up the Debo music.
Yeah.
But okay, so now I have another question for you though. Do you think that, because when I think about this, like I think about when I started jujitsu, and there was a period where like I wasn't lifting as much, but I kept the practice, right? Do you think, because I don't know if you dropped all of the acrobatic stuff as you were building muscle, but do you think if you kept in like a day where you worked on some skills, that could have been enough to maintain some of that skill?
That's
right?
That's a better approach.
Right? That's what I'm wondering. Okay. So
That's the better approach in my opinion, because I've done phases where I just drop it out of my routine.
yeah.
And then it's not as good as maybe not keeping that level of performance. Like let's do like a 4-to-1 ratio, something like that, like a yin yang.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit of this. So you switch to a muscle building phase after you come out of a skill block that might be a year or so. Got some sick skills down. I don't know what it is. You've learned something. Mark, you learn how to what's a hula hoop. You're really good at hula hoop. Mark Bell's he's
Champion.
He's a champion hula hooper. He's got all these sick tricks. You know, he's getting into poi fire, stuff. All right. So you've been through a year block of that. You got some moves locked down. They feel good. All right. If you stop, they're going to stick around. And so now you go through a muscle building phase. All right. But you were right. 100%. You're going to want to keep a little bit of the practice, maybe 1 day a week or 3 days a month. It doesn't have to be the highest end level tricks that you unlocked in your hula hooping block in your periodization plan, but that's a much smarter way of doing it. Yeah.
All right.
And, I think stuff that we talk about on the podcast many times over is like, for some of the young people listening, maybe they can learn from some of the things that I've done and maybe learn from some of the error that I may have had in my training. Powerlifting was amazing for me and it was amazing to me. And it was great the way that I navigated it. But if I would have navigated it, maybe just with a little bit of rope flow or a little bit of, we don't know what would happen. We don't know, like my body still may have become tight. I still may be in a similar situation I am now, but I believe, and I think that I would be in a slightly better position. So that's the way I've been kind of looking at a lot of this stuff for those guys and girls and stuff like that out there that want to get after it in the weight room. There's nothing wrong with getting after it in the weight room. It's amazing. But if you can keep some other forms of athleticism while you're doing that, I think that is something you should strongly consider. And I don't know if you have to go, I could be wrong, but maybe you don't have to go all in on that bodybuilding endeavor or powerlifting.
So I have a mental device I think is helpful. Let's say that you're powerlifter and you're really focused on the numbers, and this is very important for you, so you care a lot about it, okay? But you're wise enough and you're telling these younger powerlifters you might want to keep some sort of movement practice, some mobility work or something in there just to keep your orthopedic system from turning into mine when I was 40. You see what I'm saying? They can ask themselves this question: will it make them worse? Just use that as your guiding star. Like if you add in 15 minutes of rope flow every other day here and there, will it make you worse? And if you keep that in your mind as your goal, maybe it'll make you better.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe it'll do some damage control or prevent some problems.
Some of the footage I've seen of you when you were younger, doing all these flips and all these different spins and everything. Was it easier to do it when you were lighter, or is it easier to?
Yes.
Okay.
God, yes.
Well, I don't know.
Oh my God, yes.
So your strength to weight ratio at some point was higher when you were just smaller in general.
Yeah. It's infinitely easier when you're under. Most people that do the acrobatic stuff are between 140 and 180 pounds. My best weight for my skill set was around 175. 180 pounds. I was able to get around that. This one,
Damn,
still
what are you
jacked
here?
as
You look
hell.
like you're in the twos.
I'm about 200 pounds there. Yeah, and I was able to get around with some good looking skills up to about 210 pounds. It does get a lot harder as the weight goes up, but it gets exponentially harder. So going from 175 to 185 pounds, it's harder. You know, moves do look different. The mechanics are different. The muscle mass is more attractive to people viewing it. Ammonia, smelling salts.
But
yep.
every landing is that much more impactful when you're
Oh my
200
gosh.
as opposed to 170, right?
Well, that's also a problem as you get heavier. You can't really experiment with those new moves because crashing is you just don't crash these moves when you're like above 220 pounds.
Even on like a bounce, because
it will ruin you.
Wow,
it will hurt a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, going from 200 to 210 pounds is harder. Going from 220 pounds is harder, and it gets exponential for me. Going from 240 to 250 is like that's it. It's just like it's twice as hard. It's just impossible. Like I can do 2 moves in the heavier weights. It's like I can do a backflip and an aerial.
Now doing some of this stuff in like a gymnastics setting, probably is a lot easier, right? Like you get to get the spring.
Yeah, click on the one on the far right, Ostache.
You're in the grass quite a bit. Like what's the impact and what's the difference between these different surfaces?
So this is spring floor, and it's gymnastics floor. It's what they use for it's also cheer sport as well. This is what they do their floor routines on. I was about 180 pounds here.
How old were you here, dude?
I was 24, and I was dieting really hard. So it's basically starving myself to be as light as possible to do, really good. It's a really nice looking 540, and so yeah, the spring floor gives you a little pop. And
how is it on the landing?
It's a lot better. It's a lot better. The thing is, we were talking about this earlier. I was under the impression that people that train on harder surfaces, when they move to the other surfaces, they would smoke people who were only training on these nicer surfaces like plow floor and carpet and stuff. And the thing I noticed after years of doing this is that there was people that are doing this sport who only train on the plow floor, and you put them on grass and it will just destroy people who only train on grass. So that's when I figured out like people who train on plow floor only are just better off. It's just smarter.
But like why wasn't your first assumption right? Because I would have assumed the same thing. If I'm training on this harder surface that doesn't have any bounce, I should be able to transition to this easier. Why is it the opposite?
I think it's damage control is one of the major reasons. These plyometric surfaces allow you to get more volume of training, safer, easier on landing, just like you said, and it gives you so much more bandwidth for actually kind of adapting the practice as you kind of meet you where you're at. The spring gives you a little bit more of a. I don't know. These are old videos. Thank you. Good.
Some street.
Now I'd still like to train stuff on grass though, because the footage is better. You know what I mean? So being inside of a gym is one thing, but being outside and being able to chuck good moves on grass as well. So even when I was training on these floors, I would always try to go outside and see if I can reproduce at least some of it on the grass surfaces, because it's aesthetic. At the end of the day, it's aesthetic, and where you're at, the environment where you're practicing it creates a different footage. And that's why today I'm still training and doing footage outside on this driveway that I have in my backyard, because the sun makes you look jacked out of your mind.
Yes.
Being jack's important.
Being jacked and tan is important.
I think, to your point about this surface, right? And that's what my whole entire company is based on. That's what Slingshot is based on. The knee sleeves, the elbow sleeves, the slingshot itself, trying to make some of these actions that you're performing at a high level with high intensity, just like to lessen the pain and to make the impact of lifting just not hurt so much. And not linger for so long. So, I haven't really seen any studies on like elbow sleeves or knee sleeves, what's the recovery like and so forth. But we just know that when you put a knee sleeve on, you just feel a little bit more secure. You just feel a little bit better. And same thing. Yeah, proprioception. Warmth. You feel a little bit better with the elbow sleeve and stuff like that too. And obviously the slingshot is, and some people are like, oh, well, it's cheating or it's taking away, a lot from the lift. And it is. It's supportive to the point where it is allowing you to lift a little bit more, but it's also allowing you to handle a little bit more while also going through that process without jacking yourself up as much. And that seems like a lot of what the floor does for for gymnastics moves.
Yeah, I think it's kind of on a, it's not like black or white, like yes or no, 1 or 0. It's kind of like there's gray area because, you know, you roll, you're a high level, you're black belt. Why don't you guys do it on concrete? You know, it's like if you can do it on concrete, you can do it on mats better. Why don't you bench press on a wooden plank? You know, why would you do it on a pad? It's softer. You know what I mean? Why would you do it? You know, there's points where you make something a little more difficult, and there's points where you just don't do
or
that.
Like a strongman
no
athlete
sense.
with straps, or a bodybuilder using straps. Or so people are always arguing about that, and bodybuilders have used straps with a lot of success. Strongman athletes, the guys that, you know, walk with 300 pounds in each hand. It's not like they can't deadlift all day long and pull 900 pounds without straps, but they use the straps as an advantage to allow them to get a certain training stimulus.
Yeah. What about Gatorade? You know, like, why don't you just not give your athletes water, electrolytes, you know, make them tougher, right? I mean, you can look at this through not just, you know,
nutrition
mechanics of the actual training implements and the environment, but also nutritional implementation as well. There's, you know, it's a give and take of, I'm going to make this harder on purpose so that it's easier in competition versus that's just silly. I need to be able to last and get volume of training in, you know?
Yeah. Let me ask you this, you know, as you've, you know, progressed in all of these different skills, abilities of movement, muscle, strength, etc., is there anything that you would have done slightly differently as you were progressing through? Is there anything you would have added in? Is there anything you would have taken out? Anything you wouldn't have done? Why do you think your training would have changed over the years?
Let me think here. I think it depends on what phase of training to answer that question.
So let's say as you're, because I think one of the things that most people are interested in is when you're gaining muscle, when you're focused on gaining muscle, how would you have adjusted that phase?
I would have done 2 things differently for building muscle. One, I would have done cardio.
Okay.
Because that fixes your blood work like nothing else. And it actually helps. People seem to have this problem with cardio where it's just like, they just think it like burns fat or doesn't burn fat. It changes the entire chemistry of your body. And I don't think a typical hypertrophy style workout taxes the cardiovascular or respiratory systems or metabolic systems the same way as like, you know, like a zone 3 or zone 4 sustained 20, 30-minute cardiovascular session would. I do that now. I use things that are a little bit easier in an orthopedic system. Air bike, sled push pulls, concentric only. Ellipticals are great. Swimming, I mean, if I could swim, I would. I would drown, but I think that's probably a great option. Things like that is a little easier on the body. So in terms of gaining mass phases, I would have done that. The other thing is I wouldn't have just shoved tons of food down my, you know, I wouldn't. There's a certain threshold of a caloric input that you probably want to cross. Bulking on 1 extra calorie is silly, you know, but there's a certain number where it's like, it's close enough to where that's how much your body is going to use to grow and doesn't need more. But the absolute maximum that you can shove down your throat, I like Stan Efferding saying with food, he says, the amount of food that fills you up, that's your max. And so what you want to do is increase your appetite by building your appetite, and that's going to increase your max. So if you're getting to the point where you're eating and you're having to stuff food down your throat in discomfort, you got to figure out a way to make yourself hungrier so you can get that food. And that's all bodybuilding is. It's just creating a need for food. That comes from Evan Centopani. So, and he's one of the best bodybuilders that ever walked on stage. So I would, you know, figure out a way to increase my max on the amount of food I eat instead of just some dirty bulking bullshit. And I would have kept cardio in, real cardio.
And was it hard for you to gain weight, especially like with all this activity? I'm imagining it might have been difficult.
I'm good at both. I don't know. I can diet pretty well and I can gain pretty well, but I guess it's just because I want to, and so I just force it. I'm naturally, I think, a ectomesomorph. I guess is if you wanted to use those body types. I kind of lean on I'm kind of default to kind of like just a little bit lighter than the middle zone is kind of where my body is on a genetic basis. I don't know where people's minds are on body types these days, but it's easier for me to be lean than it is put muscle, but I could build muscle too, you know?
And people will want to know this. Was there any assistance?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
I want to get that out of the way for some people. For you, why did you choose that at that point?
It just kind of gets to the point where it's like, well, that's the next step. It's just logical. It's not like this giant, like, oh my God, am I going to cross this line? I was like, no, that's just the next step you take. And you just do it, you know, and I'm really interested in it. You research a lot. It's fun to learn more about it, and it's exciting. And it's just like biological race car driving, you know, it's just like, sorry, but driving around a car faster is more fun, but it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And so this is biological race car driving, and I find it more fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so into it and interested in learning more about it. And I'm really willing to work on the downsides and upsides.
So that actually makes me wonder how, because like you mentioned the cardio stuff, even on mic, like, again, I've mentioned this to Mark before. We'll bring up people sometimes on and they're like, you can hear them breathing heavy. You can hear like their blood pressure, right?
Am I breathing heavy right now?
You're not. No, you're not. That's the thing. You're healthy. So what other things do you do to keep health in mind? I assume you're doing cardio now, which is huge. What else have you kept in mind?
I mean, I got a CPAP 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh shit.
That was important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just a quick aside, you know, for that, it's like if you're waking up 9 times in the middle of the night to pee, it's not because you got to pee, it's because you're not breathing. And then you just decide, oh, I think I should pee right now. And that was a warning sign.
Yeah.
You don't really know what a good night's sleep is like when you're a heavier guy. And you know, because I gained weight. I probably needed a CPAP in 2015. I didn't get one until 2020.
Oh, wow.
You don't know. It's just like you think that's normal, but it's not. It's not. And so if anybody that's over like 220, 240 pounds, who's got a neck that's over 17 inches, if you're waking up a lot in the middle of the night to pee and you're yawning and you're drowsy more than once a day, I'm never drowsy. I'm not drowsy anymore. I used to think that was normal. So you should go to a sleep doctor and you can get an at-home sleep study.
Yeah.
They give you a little thing. You put it on one night. You don't have to be in a lab with a bunch of probes. It's not invasive. You just go home one night with a little thing on your finger, and then you come back and they'll tell you I had moderate sleep apnea. It wasn't severe. It wasn't light. It was moderate. It gave me a CPAP. After 3 or 4 days of getting adjusted to the mask, I woke up on the 4th night. I was like, what? This is real?
Yeah.
And then that increased my appetite. Like it was really crazy like that. It was like that. Cause I remember right before that, I was going through a powerlifting phase and I was competing and I was having to I was so hard to eat food. I got a CPAP before the second competition and then it was like, no problem.
Yeah.
So CPAP does all sorts of things. Those good night's sleeps change a lot of things. Your blood work, hematocrit, RBC. Like if you're not breathing, that goes up. Guess what happens when that goes up? Your blood pressure goes up. Guess what happens when that goes up? Your kidney values go up. Guess what happens when that goes up? Your liver values. Everything changes. It's all connected. It's all this weird map. So breathing at night's important. And if you can't because you're, got a superfluous amount of muscle mass on, come on.
Going through, all this gymnastics, acrobatic stuff, did you stretch over the years a lot, or?
Yeah, I stretch all the time.
You still stretch?
Oh, all the time. So people, when they ask me, how often you stretch, I'm like, well, to maintain my mobility and flexibility, I probably only have to stretch a little bit, maybe a couple times a week, but I stretch like all day long because it feels good. I'm addicted to it. It just feels good.
So when you say you stretch all day long, though, what does that like? Does it look like you just getting in positions and kind of hanging out, or doing like, I'm gonna stretch this and then you stretch it? What does it look like?
So when you get out of a car,
after
you've been driving a while, what are you doing, Nsima?
Me?
Yeah.
I like to move and stretch.
Yeah. Which stretches do you do? Like you just got out of a car. What are you doing?
Yeah. I'll kind of
go on. What are you doing right now?
Yeah. A little bit of back movement.
See, he's already doing this.
Okay.
He's already doing this. You start to what do you when you wake up in the morning?
Yeah.
What's the first thing you do is in bed, when you're laying in bed, you start to do this. Start to do this.
Pendiculate.
Yeah, pendiculate. Yeah, I got that from Chris Chamberlain just 2 days ago. Chris Chamberlain's the man. But no, it just feels natural. So, and I think that most people, they avoid stretching because they don't know about all they choose poor stretches. They choose stupid stretches. I got an app, Stretch Strong, and it's got a library with like 700 stretches. You don't need that many stretches, but you can search and filter by equipment, position, and everything. So the important thing is to find the ones that you like to do with the equipment that you have. And then when you find stretches that feel good, you're going to do it, because most people, when they think of stretching, they're like, sit on the ground and then touch your hamstring.
Yeah.
Well, that's silly. But, there's you know, I got a good one. You get a pulley, like a free pulley.
Yeah.
Now attach some tough bands on the end. Your shake straps would be perfect. Okay.
Ooh.
Now face away from the pulley and then lean into it. And it does this motion here. You will sit into that for like 5 minutes because you won't want to get out. It feels like a hot shower. It just feels good. If the stretches you're choosing are like a hot shower or where you don't want to stop because it feels good, you've chosen the right stretches.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, man. You know, a funny thing within the exercise science is a lot of people are like, stretching is unnecessary. Stretching will make you weaker. Stretching will make your ligaments too lax. There's all this stuff against stretching. Then there's people like you who actually do the thing, and you're very strong, and you have very strong tendons. So my curiosity is like, is there anything wrong with maybe the classical ways of how people are stretching? Is there ways that you would make stretching better?
Yeah. So let me think here for a second, because this is kind of a complicated, I'm going to try to simplify it. So the whole stretching makes you weaker thing, most of the studies are like, this sprinter stretches hamstrings for 30 minutes with static stretches before he ran and he was slower. No shit, because he was sitting there doing nothing. Anyone that sits and relaxes doing nothing before a full out sprint is going to be slower than a guy that did a dynamic warm up with, you know, swings and stuff like that. So sometimes it's not the fact that you were doing a certain type of stretches that you were relaxing, because stretching can be relaxing. The other thing to keep in mind is certain sports, some tension is good. Like you want to be tight in certain areas as a powerlifter. You don't want to be all loosey-goosey all the time. Maybe you need a little stretching so that you're not too tight, so you don't blow something. But I understand, but it's also body part by body part dependent. Like sprinters might want to be, what is it? I'm mixing them up. They might want to be loose in the hamstrings and maybe tighter in the quads and the glutes just a little bit, or it could be the other way around. I forget, but depending on the actual kinetics of the motion, the cycling of the legs, you might want tension in some areas and looseness in others, and that's going to dictate maybe what you should stretch and what you shouldn't.
Yeah. For your example right there, what you're mentioning, like think about, this is classic. Think about a bodybuilder or a powerlifter attempting to sprint, how close their legs are together, because they cannot bring their leg high here. They don't have the hip flexor flexibility and potentially strength, right? So if they were to get some flexibility and strength in those areas, maybe they'd have a better leg cycle, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not all bad.
No, it's not all bad. And the other thing that I like to tell people is you could always try stretching, and then if you don't like the results, you can just stop.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you don't have to
get your money back
before you lift.
What'd you say?
You don't have to stretch right before you lift.
No.
You can do it after. You can do it at another time. It's like,
yeah, and there's different types of stretches. You know, there's obviously isometric stretches, which has a contraction at in range. There's dynamic stretches, which is more like a sling and a fling type motion. There's classic static stretches, which is just you just go to in range and hold it. Then there's active stretches, which I think is going to be bigger in the next 3 or 5 years. And Stay Flexy David was on your podcast.
Yeah.
He's been kind of getting more into these. An active,
like PNF type stuff.
Active flexibility category is still old school, but you don't see a lot of examples of people doing it because it's hard. An example would be like say holding the leg up as high as you can with no assistance. So really what happens in those is your tissue isn't being put into in range as far as it could, like if you're using assistance from external force or from more of a passive. You're having to actually, like, let's say this. I'm standing here, I'm just
pushing it back.
So what you're getting is isometric training and flexibility at the same time.
I like that.
There's not a lot of that category doesn't have as many options to choose from, but if you can find a couple, those are like almost like magic in terms of sport carryover. They will make you stronger. They work. There's just not a lot of options because there's not a lot you can do with just, you see what I'm saying, with that category.
It makes me wonder, like, for example, like that example you gave, if you were to purposely like use something to stretch back there and then you purposely go to that end range and then try to hold it for a while, right?
Yeah.
Like activating that new range, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's dope. Okay.
I got a good stretch. You want to do this real quick?
I'll attempt it.
It's an angel stretch. I got this from Yuri Marmerstein. It's a really great. So all you do, and this is a good example of an active stretch. It's just an upper body one.
Okay.
You're just going to bring your hands up, put your hands together, pull them back behind your head as far as you can. As far as you can. Yeah. You see your face, Nsima?
Yeah. Relax.
Go further back, Mark. There.
Oh,
All right, now come back up. Come back up. Now what I want you to do is wide arc. Come back around. Now, yes, do this with your palms. Now I want you to come back, shoulder internal rotation. Go up as high as you can on your back.
I instinctively don't like this one.
Yep, go up as high as you can on your back.
Like try to and have my hands touching my back or off my back.
You can touch them, but just try to go up as high as you can on your. Yes, there's your face. All right, now just repeat that. It's just a back and forth. Yeah. But that's a good example of an active stretch where it's like it's hard. Yeah. You know, if you're trying to really stretch as hard as you can, you know, just do 3 reps. You don't need a lot.
Feels good.
It does, but it's harder to do. Yeah. You're not using anything to assist you. It's not relaxed, but you know,
nice afterwards though.
I think it's really good for Ropeflow.
Yeah. The overhand and the overhead stuff.
About 5 or 15 minutes of good active shoulder exercises. You know, I don't do it out all the time because I don't like to do them. Yeah, they're harder. But if you do that before a little Ropeflow practice, some of those sneaks, man, they come through a little smoother. You stop hitting your legs and the rope on the way back up.
Yeah. What did you think of Ropeflow when you first saw it?
Okay, so again, that's another Yuri Marmerstein thing. He came to my house about 2 years ago.
Who's Yuri Marmerstein?
He's my friend. He's for about 20 years, he was in tricking, and then he kind of got into movement culture. The thing I like about Yuri is he didn't drink the Kool-Aid, so he still kind of speaks like you know what I mean? Where it's just like, is relatable, he's grounded. Yeah. And it's just, he's the person to deliver that type of stuff. That guy? Yeah.
Okay, let me find him on social.
Yeah, he's a Russian guy. He's great. But
it's like a powerhouse.
So what happened is a couple of years ago, I told him to bring a bunch of toys. I want to learn some new stuff. Yeah, no. He brought like archery stuff, maces, ropes, K-bells, all sorts of things. And the Ropeflow that he brought with him that was it. Like I was stuck on Ropeflow. I was like, whoa, this is really cool. I like this. Yeah. So then I started, you could probably find a Ropeflow video a couple of years ago. Type in Jujimufu Ropeflow on YouTube. You could see my first Ropeflow session is on there somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, that's how I got into it. Was he just showed it to me and then I started doing it and I really liked it. Yeah, there he is. So this is the day he showed me Ropeflow for the first time. And in this video somewhere.
So it's already coming from somebody that you know and respect.
Yeah, yeah. And he was telling me about David Weck. Yeah, David Weck. And I didn't know who he was at that time. And I learned recently. But yeah, that afternoon he showed me, you know, about Ropeflow, and I really liked it. And I've just been keeping up with it since. I think I'm trying to learn how to do a dragon roll here. Look, look at that.
Yep.
Look, I don't know what I'm doing.
It takes time. It takes time to learn.
That's what I was trying to show you this afternoon after the workout. See?
Yeah.
But you know, I'm so curious, man. Like for you,
that's my first Ropeflow session.
Yeah. For you, doing all the things you've done high level powerlifting, high level bodybuilding, you're high level at the rings where you can do like a human, what is this right here?
Iron cross.
Iron cross.
You know, in gymnastics, that's a B skill. Yeah. It goes up to E.
Oh, the human cross is a B skill?
It's a B. It's an E skill. I know. Gymnasts are nuts, man.
I thought I'm starting to get somewhere. Yeah, man. I can't do it yet.
You know, you can't. Yeah.
Wow. But you can do all these things, and then what for this? What has this helped you with? What has this brought you? Other than like looking cool? Because I think people just think it looks cool.
I think I liked it when you said, well, he's done it for 2 years. He must be getting something out of it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be doing it for 2 years. And it's not just because it looks cool. It's like, well, I could tell you a lot. First, it's the greatest form of procrastination aside from just going out for a walk.
So it stops you from lifting, right? You don't do the important stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm procrastinating from doing a workout. I'm like, I'm going to Ropeflow or roll my feet. I don't want to roll my feet anymore. I don't want to go for a walk. I go out there Ropeflow.
It's rare, though, that you only Ropeflow. Like, even if you're like, procrastinating and Ropeflowing, you're like, I don't feel like doing much today. You almost always do a bunch of other shit afterwards.
Absolutely. And
he's got the RMT club right here.
That's he's got an RMT. He was showing me all sorts of crazy stuff that day. It was fun. But I noticed that my shoulders had some pain between 2020 and 2023, which was that year. And when I started Ropeflow, hey, this feels pretty good. My shoulders feel a lot better. Wow. Okay. Wow. And then my lower back started to feel better too, because it's got all this moving around, you know? And then I started getting into learning all the moves, and I started noticing my footwork was changing. I noticed my movement patterns were more coordinating because the rope gives you feedback. It connects everything. Everything's doing something at the same time. You actually look different when you walk. You know, dancers, you ever see a dancer walk? Like you go look at like a ballet dancer or a high-end dancer, just watch them walk. It's like, whoa, they look cool when they walk. Like that's kind of neat, man. That's something everyone does. And it's something that you get to appreciate every time you walk. So with the Ropeflow, I just noticed all my movement for everything I'm doing was just so much better. And it just felt so good. And I know there's like people talk about like the cross brain training, coordination. I think Weck is right that it's the Rosetta Stone of movement, because I'm starting to learn martial arts weapon stuff for like, because it looks good on camera. Giant Meat Man does stuff with a stick in his backyard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I noticed that the Ropeflow is like, this is really good as a base, because I'm picking up moves so fast, and it's from Ropeflow.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So in terms of how you do in terms of flips, because you mentioned the cross body stuff. One thing I noticed for myself is like my left side rotation is much worse. I'm right-handed, right? So when that transferred for me into jiu-jitsu, I noticed like I was doing more things to my left side. I was doing more rotational like movements and sweeps, etc., to my left side. For tricks, I can see that there's stuff you do towards one side and the other. Did you notice anything there? Did it make any type of help you do certain things easier?
With the tricking?
With the tricking. Did it affect your tricking at all? And if not, it's all good. I'm just curious.
I don't think it helped with that, but as a form of active recovery.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I shouldn't be able to do moves at 240 pounds much, but it's a low level input form of moving. Walking is active recovery, swimming, light cardio, but Ropeflow is just something you can do just for fun. And you kind of get literally into flow. Yeah. And it's enjoyable. So as a form of active recovery, that can help me recover faster, decrease the time between workouts, or make recovery more complete, maybe, so that my sessions are better. In terms of the actual skills themselves, I can't say that it's actually like carried over, like, oh yes, it made these skills better. So that's the answer, I suppose.
Okay.
How about you for using Ropeflow with your jiu-jitsu or your lifting and some of the other things?
It's because the left side and right side rotation, like in jiu-jitsu, you'll do, and I have like, there are certain sweeps you'll do and you'll always do them to your dominant side typically. Because people always say, then just train your non-dominant side. And when you're rolling against somebody, you're gonna go towards the side you feel better with. But like now, because it helps you kind of fill in the gaps between when you're doing something on your strong side and you get that rotation in on your weak side. Now I have a tendency to also do certain sweeps to my right side, because I feel naturally going to that side feels more natural now, where I'd never tap into that before. Yeah. So that's how that's like, it's kind of unlocking certain other movements in jiu-jitsu for me that I just wouldn't do because my body doesn't feel good there, right? It helps you, both sides of the body.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, we were rope flowing earlier today. I mean, you've been playing around with it. How about you?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing it on most days. Like you said, it's low cost. Like it doesn't cost your joints and your ligaments and your tendons. I always tell people this because you can hurt yourself doing anything, but the odds of you hurting yourself with the rope is very low.
I don't think I've had a single injury or tweak or irritation doing it at all.
It's going to be very hard. You have to work very hard.
How would you hurt yourself with it?
Maybe just whip yourself. I don't know.
Going too long, too early. Like I think. You're super well conditioned. You're also very well conditioned. But I there's so many people who like they haven't really done much, and then they do rope flow.
I've done it before where I kind of thrashed my obliques before,
right?
Where the next day I'm like, oh shit, but it's nothing dangerous.
I mean, my lower back sore.
Yeah,
I mean, my shoulder sore, a little the tendons here, but it's soreness. It's not like oops,
tore something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's really effective. I feel like it's also like a practice, like I for now, I just kind of twirl forward and backward and I'm like learning a couple other things, but you start to implement other stuff with it. And more recently I've been like doing lunges with it, and I've been like walking with it, walking forward, walking backwards, even trying to sync up and sort of like just kind of close your eyes and kind of get into it more and just try to like round certain parts of my body, round my back more. Just really trying to like almost like work your body from the inside out.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, a lot of times when you're lifting, you have these like, you have a lot of rules when you're lifting, and when you're setting up for a deadlift or setting up for a squat, there's a bunch of stuff that's like running through your mind. On this, you're flowing, you're just kind of going with it. And then maybe you stay on one side for a little bit and then maybe you switch to the other and so forth. And you start to feel like, oh shit, this side feels stuck. This side does not feel right. And then you try to keep going through that side over and over again And something you said earlier today about like isometrics, and I think it would be great if you shared that with everybody today, but there's a lot of stuff that we do where your strengths and your weaknesses are, your strength is like overriding stuff, and your weakness doesn't really get nudged or encouraged the way that it needs to. But it's just like your strengths just keep getting stronger and they keep getting better, while everything else is like not keeping up. You know, it's not doing as well. And so we have a tendency to continually do the thing. You know, it's just easier to throw a football with your right. So you'll just, if somebody wants to play catch, you'll just throw it with your right. Yeah. But the logical thing to do would be to start throwing it with your left. and it sucks. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel good. But imagine if you did it, you know, a couple times every day or a couple times every week. Eventually, a month goes by, maybe 6 months goes by, maybe a year goes by, and then now you can chuck it the same way with your left.
I got a quick story about that. I think you'll appreciate this. Slacklining.
Oh, I've never done it.
You haven't done it?
I haven't. People, it keeps me mentioned, so I need to.
It's like, okay. So 10 years, thank you for priming me up for this, because this is exciting for me. So 10 years ago, I got a slackline, and I was in that. You're not going to find any videos of me slacklining. They're not. I'm pretty good at it, though. Probably not. But about 10 years ago, I had the typical fitness approach. Like, I want to get good at this. I'm going to do this 3 days a week for an hour. And I'm going to do it for 4 weeks. And I'm going to like take it very seriously and log it. Like, it was just like that approach.
Yeah.
I didn't get anywhere. And I was convinced after a month, I was like, this is stupid. Like, you can't get good at this. It's just like, this isn't something you get good at. It's just like some people are good at it and some people aren't. So that was what I thought. About 2 years ago, when I started getting Ropeflow and a little bit more open-minded and having fun exploring things, I was like, I'm really liking this. What else can I try? I'll get a slackline again. That's fun. You know, maybe I just won't try to get good at it. Maybe I'll just play around with it, you know, see what happens. So got a slack rack, put it in my gym, and I microdosed it. So instead of like the 3 days a week, hour for those sessions trying to get good, I just like step on it for like 2 or 3 minutes a day. And after about it took a while, about 6 months into it. It was fun though. Yeah. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I was playing around with it. It felt kind of good. I was just kind of goofing off. About 6 months went by, then all of a sudden, holy shit, I'm walking backwards on it. I'm doing lunges on it. It was just like a switch flicked.
Yeah.
And I can turn around on it and I can like stand there. And
it also always set up? Like, was it always there that you could
it's a Gibbons slackline, and I got an extension, and it's also at first I was moving it in and outside because I like to get sunlight. It feels good to be outside. Yeah. And then I left it outside on accident. It's fine. Now it's been outside for 6 months. So it's also waterproof. It's good. It's weatherproof. But I was just doing it a few minutes here and there, and a great procrastination from working out again. Another great option if you don't want to do your real workout is just dick around on a slackline for a few minutes here and there. But it's microdosing the movement, you know, like you said, it's microdosing the movement. And like all of a sudden something's flicked after 6 months, and it's just like, holy crap. And then it's been from there step improvement. So you just kind of play with it, but it was fun. I'm just enjoying it. I'm not trying to get good at it, but it's frequency, low level practice. And I think that's also kind of changed the way I walk and move around. I'm in the kitchen at night, like preparing food, hanging out with my wife, and I'm like kind of like moving weird on my feet. Dude, get a slack line and just try it for like 15 minutes and just walk. You're going to feel completely different. Like, walking's just weird afterwards. Like, oh, this is great. Like, I'm good at this. So I would recommend just getting one for fun. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun. And I think it's strength. I don't really believe that. I don't believe balance is a real thing. I think it's just strength in weird places. And so
what do you mean?
What do I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's just like when people think of strengthening muscle groups, they think I'll make my chest strong. I'll make my shoulder strong. I'm going to increase my tricep strength. This is like maybe like a small muscle in your foot or like a small muscle in your lower back. And there's some coordination involved. Coordination is real. But I think balance is kind of like a mixture of strength in weird places and coordination and maybe just neurology. Like you're just, alert or something.
Yeah, you can't balance for shit the second you close your eyes.
Yeah.
Makes it really difficult.
But, David's probably, you ever heard this from David, the head over foot thing?
Yeah.
Right. So like if you were to stand here and you just like bring your head over your foot and then you close your eyes, but your head stays over your foot, it's way easier to balance.
Makes it easier.
I haven't tried that.
Oh, try it.
Right
It actually falls in line with what you're saying, because like balance is, it's a lot of those weird muscles, but it's also about your body just understanding the positioning to be in, to be balanced.
Okay.
Because, like, for example, if you were to stand on one leg, bring your head over here, right? Bring your head away from that leg, and then just bring your head over your foot. Just bring your head over your foot. You see how much easier it is?
It is easier, yeah.
It's head over foot is like perfect balance.
It is.
Right? And you learn that positioning, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's a mixture of like learned positioning, skill work, strength in weird places, some coordination, muscles firing at the same time.
How weird was that shit we were doing today? I was showing him like a little bit like FP stuff, and I had him like, like row.
It was so hard to do something the wrong way.
He was having a really hard time.
Having a really hard time. Yeah.
It's just neat though. It's neat to explore those different positions.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. And it makes you think like, why is it so hard? Why is it so hard to do something different? You know?
What were you saying about isometrics? You gave me like a pretty good definition of what a guy thinks is going on when you're doing isometrics.
Okay, so I'm not an expert in this, but I started getting isometric training in March for my knee rehab. I've had patellar tendinopathy because doing tricks at large man body weights on grass most of the time for 25 years is going to create some mileage. So both my knees have tendinopathy. I've had stem cells that didn't help. I've tried a lot of things. And peptides don't do anything.
Jumper's knee, like for some people that don't know, it can hurt very, very badly. Like you just think like you just hear about these things and you're like, well, this guy's got like a little thing going on, but no, it can hurt tremendously sometimes.
I mean, a lot of times you can't bend your knee afterwards.
Right.
Like if you usually with jumper's knee is like when you aggravate it, you're toast for 72 hours or so. It has to finish its complete inflammation cycle before the pain's gone. You might not even be able to bend the knee or bear any weight on it. But Keith Barr is a molecular biologist, and I listened to some podcasts with him. You know what I'm going with this?
Yeah. I've heard some of his stuff recently. Yeah.
So I'll try to explain it the way he did, but I would recommend you guys go look to find the podcast where he's talking about,
on Tim Ferriss's podcast.
Tim Ferriss is why I found it, and he's also well-spoken. In other words, Keith Barr is a very well-spoken guy. But the way he described it is, you have basically tissue guarding other tissue in the knee. So the stronger tissue gets stronger as you get better as an athlete. The body starts to rely on the stronger tissue, and then the weaker tissue in the knee starts to get weaker. So now this disparity starts to grow as you continue to become a more explosive athlete. So now you have the actual tissue changes. The collagen synthesis is actually different in the weaker tissue. So now when you image it, you see the blacks and the white spots. The tissue looks unhealthy. You have stage 4 degeneration or whatever. So my knees are all trashed because I'm doing this high-end plyometrics without actually getting load through the tissue. His solution is you need to put load through the tissue so that the weaker tissue, because otherwise the stronger tissue just keeps guarding it. And when you do too much, then you just aggravate it and you end up with pain. So you have to do that without motion because, the knees over toes, like the eccentric, I think that's good for later stage knee rehabilitation and knee strengthening. But for me, it was still too much. So Keith Barr's solution is further regression, like you said. It's beautiful. The isometric no load, like getting load to that tissue. His protocol is, find a position like a 90-degree wall squat or like get a leg extension machine, load it up as high as you can, and then just exert, slowly ramp up. And then you're getting load through that tissue. There's no motion, so it's safe. And then you just do that for 30 seconds, slowly ramp down, wait a couple minutes, do 4 sets or so, and repeat that every day or sometimes a couple times a day, which was too much for me.
Yeah.
But I did that for a month and my knee started to actually, the bad wasn't as bad anymore. Like when it got bad, it wasn't nearly as bad as when it got really bad when I aggravated it. So I was pretty excited that the isometrics was strengthening and removing that disparity from the tissue. And now I'm exploring like the movement, low gait movement stuff because that gets boring after a while, man. Like sitting against a wall and doing isometrics was really helpful in the beginning, and I still do some of it, but it's freaking boring. So now I'm finding like kind of the low gait, kind of like movement challenges, it's almost like a plyometrics, just slow movements through it. So, and then I started applying it to my elbows.
When you say low gait, do you mean like close to the ground?
Yes.
Like a lunge.
So imagine like a duck walk.
Yeah.
Like a duck walk or like trying different movements and stuff. I mean, you guys are really good at it in jiu-jitsu. Yeah. You guys are masters of that stuff. Maybe if I get good enough at it, I'd be able to roll or play jiu-jitsu a little bit more with people. But right now, like I'm still kind of recovering from it. But I started exploring that concept with my elbow because I had some elbow, a little tendonitis there too.
Yeah.
And then now as I'm trying to progress and build my ring strength back to a higher level again, I don't want to pop a pec. I never had a pec tear. I don't want one, but I'm thinking like, hey, I can add load to that dangerous spot with some isometrics.
I have a question. Have you ever seen this thing called the ring thing?
Look it up, Ryan. What's the ring thing?
Just type on YouTube the ring thing. It's something I got recently.
It sounds familiar.
You'll recognize it. It's for the rings. It's like it's this tool that will pretty much take away some of your body weight. Like you probably don't need it for those skills, but I need it for those skills.
Oh no, everyone needs it. Everyone needs to be able to.
Right there.
Everyone this thing is pretty new, right?
No, Dave's had it for a while.
So I use bands. I just use reverse bands.
Okay.
And I'll use a fish scale to see how much his assistants are giving me, usually like 20 pounds. But this is actually a better option because it's more well thought out and it's easier to adjust and put on. Yeah. No, I've never seen this product. I think I've seen things like it. Let's see what happens. Yeah.
See how there's like a pulley system that is taking away some of her body
and
weight.
The pulley system is like wrapped around the top or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I have seen that before. Yeah, it's really smart.
It gets you able to actually get a volume of that movement in and kind of meet you where you're at.
Damn, I need to get that.
I need one too.
I'd love that.
Get it at the Stronger Human store.
Oh yeah? Oh, well, you got okay. Yeah. So have you been using it?
Yes.
For how long?
I've been using it for like the past 2 months because like again, for me, like these skills, I can do regressions, but like I have so much body weight. So like it's been allowing me, like I can actually get into an iron cross. I can feel those tissues that I've never felt before actually get hit, and I can like work on these things. And then I can add in a weight belt. So like exactly. So if I want to add more weight from the weight it takes away, I just put on a belt along with that, and then I can start progressing towards my actual body weight with these.
There you go.
It's still going to take me a while, but I'm actually making some headway.
Yeah, the thing I was telling you is I think like when you're a larger guy and you're trying to do these things that smaller guys can do, especially with the ring strength, I think rings are great. Maybe the plyometric acrobatic stuff is probably not as beneficial, but this type of stuff, the ring training for larger guys, I think they get more benefit out of it than smaller people. It's almost like an X factor is what I say. It's like when you get it, it's strengthening things in a weird way. As long as you're patient, you can't jump into it. And this is a way of regressing it so that you can be patient, experience what it feels like to get through it. But so I guess you've done the supports, you've done ring dips. Yeah. Have you worked on your false grip?
I haven't. That's what I'm starting to do a little bit more.
False grip's awesome.
I need to do way more. It
makes your forearms huge. That's what built my forearms up. Everyone thinks it's all the grip training and the grip tool company. It was false grip.
False grip stuff for you. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And it feels good.
Just bringing your grip in way close on the rings.
Yeah, and actually, that's an active mobility exercise. Because think about it, you're having to like really get around it, so you're getting flexibility there with that isometric contraction.
Yeah.
But the great thing about the false grip is you have feedback instead of just like, oh, I'm trying to go forward. It's like, no, I'm trying to hold on the rings. So you have some sort of thing that's like downward pressure.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing when I go home. I'm doing this once I get home.
How cool is how all this stuff connects? We have other guests on. You know, we've had a bunch of guests talking about stones and talking about sandbags and stuff. But like when you do that motion, you have to like, you know, get your hands in there, and you got to kind of flex your forearms in a very similar way that you're mentioning. You know, I think that what we're talking about, you know, isometrics and I think eccentrics. I actually think that isometrics and eccentrics, I think those two things alone, without stretching, without myofascial release, I think they're really powerful. They're really, really powerful. And then if you add other things in, you add some movement practices in, you add some myofascial release, maybe you have a practitioner working on you wherever your injury is, those things can be way more powerful than we give them credit for. We had Corey Schlesinger on the podcast, and Corey works with the Detroit Pistons. And he said, you know, and I took him through my gym and showed him all the different stuff I had. And he's like, this piece of equipment right here is the most sought after piece of equipment in all of the NBA. And
Which piece was that?
A leg extension machine, because of what you said about the tendinopathy and the jumper's knee and everything. And he's like, yeah, have my guy do isos on here. And you were saying, you know, the wall sit is kind of boring, but I think that,
but it works.
Well, it does work. But I was going to say, I think that if we kind of use our heads and start to think about the methods that we've utilized for building muscle mass or even building strength, It's like, I don't see why you couldn't mix an ISO in with, as long as your knee is okay to do the regular extensions. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to mix in, you know, some ISO work with a little bit of bodybuilding and still kind of kill yourself.
But I started to do that. I started to do that because I got started. Just real quick note, the wall squat, you have to do it a certain way. Like, it's not just 90-degree angle and holding it. Like, I'm actually pushing my feet forward into the floor.
Yeah, pushing your
knees.
It's a completely different exercise.
Yeah.
into
like,
the front of your shoes.
Yes, and then you're going to feel it in your knee. And then you can actually come up 10 degrees, down 10 degrees. And you can do bias one side, one leg. So then you can kind of play around with it, because when you're able to add that element of playfulness into your rehabilitation, it's so hard just to stick to some really boring. But when you start to play around with it, explore, and just start inventing things like that, now you're getting a lot of volume of work in. But I've started to mix the isometrics into my routines, into my normal bodybuilding training. Here's a test. I got an experiment for you guys. I invented this thing. Probably not I invented it, but I didn't see
You invented it. It's okay.
Someone else has done this.
It's
I'm
your day.
100,000% certain someone else has done this, but I just thought of it about 3 months ago. It was I call them face plant flies. So set the rings at a height that you would do ring flies on, and then just lay down with your head on the ground, your hips on the ground, and your toes on the ground, and you're here. So you're here, right here, and now just exert force into the rings, and now it's an isometric contraction. Hold it for about 6 to 8 seconds, rest 4 or 5 seconds, 6 to 8 seconds, rest 4 or 5 seconds, maybe another. Do that for a few sets. In fact, I was reading Super Training from Mel Siff and Verchansky, I think is how you said it. I found his isometric protocol is exactly that. Later in the book. I was like, okay, I accidentally is doing exactly what this guy was doing for isometrics. But here's the experiment. Do that with rings, and then go get on a fly machine in the gym and see how freaking strong you are on it. It's just like, holy shit, that's a full stack. What is going on? And if you could do more weight on that, and if you go back to the weight that you actually need, the right weight for building muscle, it's a great primer for a hypertrophy workout, man. And since it's isometric, you're building up all that tissue integrity in that spot, so you're less likely to tear your pec if you're going to move on to a bench. I'm really excited about isometrics lately. I just think in the next 3 or 5 years, people won't be shutting up about it. I think it's just kind of on the upswing right now.
So many different ways they could be done, because it could be done, you know, as part of the eccentric, and then you can hold, you know, and then you can go down lower, and then you can hold again, and you can come. I mean, there's so many different tricks you can utilize. Something I used coming off of a pec tear years ago was something called strength aerobics. And the combination of those two words together makes it very difficult to search for it. You can't find any information out about it. But I think it was a Vershansky thing as well. And it was just basically utilizing extreme eccentrics to try to, you know, overcome an injury. And what I mean by extreme is not necessarily in reference to the weight. It's in reference to how long the sets take. They take a tremendous amount of time. And James Smith walked me through this. You might be able to see some of it on the old, the ST06 channel, maybe. With me and the thinker James Smith showing me these slow tempo movements. But you know, it's like week 1, you know, bench the bar, you know, it's just super slow, and just the progression was super slow. But next thing you know, I had like 185, 225, and then I don't know, 6 weeks go by, I got 365 on, and I'm moving it, you know, slow. I'm like, shit, we're getting close to like training weights again. So obviously, like, you know, everyone's results are going to be a little different. I tore my pec, but it wasn't like completely blown off, you know, off the tendon and everything like that. And so it only took me, you know, 6 to 8 weeks to be able to heal from that. But that was huge. And so the strength aerobics might be something that might help maybe your knee as your knee goes through these progressions. And I should set you up with Corey Schlesinger. Okay. Because he'll give you some protocols that I think would be awesome.
Dude, at this point with my knee, like I'll try anything. Like I'll literally try anything. If it works, I'll
they got guys with $150 million contracts where that shit needs to be figured out now, you know?
Yeah.
So they have to figure these things out for these guys.
I mean, I feel like I'm getting somewhere with it, but I'm still like, I'm probably about a year out before I can have a workout without I'm having to think about my knee. And that's okay, because, you know, I'm going to be doing this until I'm dead, and I don't plan to die anytime soon. So, you know, if it takes me a year for my knees to be pain-free with some, you know, exploring new options, let's do it, you know? So is this a video with you and?
It's me and James. Yeah. He's taking me through a bunch of different things on that day, I think.
Yeah.
was going to ask you, what are some, oh, he's probably just having me do some like general warm up for the triceps or something.
Like a winning warm up.
What are some things?
So round.
Yeah, that face is pretty round, huh? What are, like, how do you determine for yourself how to be like healthy? How to be safe? You know, we talked earlier
with
about
exercise.
We talked earlier about performance enhancing drugs, and we talked about you gaining weight. And I think you mentioned the heaviest you've been was 275. And now you're 245 and you look healthy and you look great. What are things like, how do you determine for yourself, like, oh, I really love doing this shit. I like doing the tricks. I like doing the extreme stuff. My knee kind of hurts, but you know, how do I continue forward with really any of it, whether it's your bodybuilding goals, your physique goals, and the different goals you have to be able to perform things physically? How do you kind of determine for yourself to like keep it in some sort of range that's still healthy?
Okay. I'm gonna answer this. Let me see if I can answer this. And it's kind of an answer to your question. And I think it's an interesting, and I like to actually discuss it with you guys. I call it, maybe it's a form of like health periodization, because I think people, when they think of health, they're like, I'm just going to do everything right all the time. And that's the way it works. It's like, but think about this. What if there's a drug you can take that is going to help you with your, let's say, heart health? Okay. But maybe it produces some sort of burden on your liver, right? The thing is that the liver is a more robust organ. It can regenerate itself. It's easier to come back from, you know, mild liver aggravation. The heart is, you know, okay. So let's say niacin, for example, B5. Niacin can increase your liver values, but for me, when I use it, and I've been using it for 10 years, it does change my lipid profile favorably. My HDL increases it by about 10 points on average when I keep it in my routine. So my HDL is usually about 40 or 50, which isn't bad, but it's, you know, well, it's not great, but it's not bad. And my LDL is, you know, in the 50s to 100. So it's good, you know. And so if that lipid profile is that way, but it's increasing my liver values up maybe 30 points on each end, the AST and the ALT are a little higher. All right. If I stopped using it, my liver values would go back down. But then, hey, maybe it's better to have that as an option for keeping my heart healthy long term. And if I need to reduce the burden on my liver. So now I'm cycling, you know, something in that way where it's got pros and cons.
Right.
So I think things have upside and downside. You're going to look at it from the long term, like, oh, how about performance enhancing drugs, for example, something that's going to increase muscle mass, increase glucose tolerance, and all these things. Now it's able to put a little bit more muscle on you. You're better metabolically, and you're feeling better. And now you don't have a weight problem. Maybe you're able to cut 40 pounds and now you're able to move around, build some strength. Now you pull it back out. It's easier to maintain it. So it's like, okay, so for that 16 to 32 weeks where you did something that, you know, was dangerous, it changed your health in that way. You pulled it back out. You see what I'm saying? So it's not all about just like, let me fix everything and do it perfectly all the time. It's like, I'm going to take this risk to fix this problem and then remove it on the back end. So I look at it as kind of like nutritional periodization for health, not nutrition, but health periodization in that way. So it's just an idea I kind of had in my head where it's just like, you know, what's the lesser of two evils here? Being obese and walking around with joint pain and all these problems, or maybe doing something like fixing my hormone levels and getting in check where that has its own risks. So what do you guys think about that?
I think it's fascinating. I think it speaks to the fact that like different athletes run into potentially different diseases. And I've tried to communicate with people about this, but I'm not really finding a whole lot of answers. But it doesn't seem like a lot of bodybuilders get cancer.
Okay.
But on the flip side, well, bodybuilder is going to die mainly from heart disease. Right. And so I think you are sometimes trading out one thing for another. It seems like with runners can sometimes have like a low bone density. Runners, triathletes and so forth can be a little bit like malnourished and things like that. While they're doing a healthy endeavor, we all agree like, oh, some running's probably great. But maybe because they're running so hard, running so far, running so fast, maybe they're kind of trading one thing for another. It's hard for them to keep on muscle mass and so forth and things like that. So I think a lot of sports kind of end up pushing you in some of those directions that you're talking about. And this also goes along with what you mentioned earlier about gaining muscle mass at one particular point and focusing on that, and then going back to doing your acrobatics, gymnastics type movements.
Mm-hmm.
I think as I've gotten older, I've tried to I think the example Mark gave was really good when it comes to, somebody's trying to get better at running. They start running a ton, they lose muscle. Maybe they've improved at this, but a bunch of other things in terms of potentially their health go to the wayside. And for me, my goals in terms of jiu-jitsu are competing at the highest level. And I think some people think that to do that, you have to train jiu-jitsu 6 days a week. There's a bunch of things you have to do that maybe will take away from your health. But I just look at things in longer time spans.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't train with that frequency because my body can't handle it for a long time, but will I still be able to develop those skills and it'll take a little bit longer? Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I would have people maybe think about muscle gain too. It's like, if you want to gain the most amount of muscle possible, if you started training bodybuilding 5 or 6 days a week, and maybe you even hopped on for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You probably max out that very quickly. But maybe if you gave yourself a few extra years, right? Maybe you might reach the same spot with slightly less frequency while being able to, like you mentioned, that 1 day a week of something else.
Yeah.
If you weren't just going all in on that one thing. So I think that we need to first ask the question, why are we going all in on this? Is there a better way to do this if we give ourselves more time? Because at the end of the day, you mentioned it earlier, you're going to be doing this stuff till the day you die.
Yeah.
Ideally, I want to be doing jiu-jitsu till the day I die too.
Yeah.
I want to be doing all these things. So thinking with longer time spans, that means I don't need to rush towards that goal.
Right.
My ring goals are a few years away. If I did it with more vigor and more more frequency, maybe I could get there faster, but I'd probably have a bunch of boo-boos that I wouldn't want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think the hard part, and I don't have the answer to this, I think it's personal.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about getting there fast. It's not about getting there slow. It's about finding the right speed, because if you don't do, the body works in thresholds a lot of the times.
Yeah.
It's not this dimmer switch. It's usually like lights are on or lights are off with biological things.
Yeah.
And usually it's like 100 extra grams of carbs, 200 extra grams of carbs, 3. It's like, I don't know, that's a bad example, but usually it's like nothing, done.
Yeah.
The lights are on.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to when you're talking about working out, reps and sets, it's like one extra set did nothing, another extra set did nothing, another extra set did nothing. Boom. In the next week, you do the fourth extra set as the volume is trying to increase on a timeline.
Yeah.
Boom. That's when the biological switch was flipped.
Yeah.
So it's not about I don't think it's about going slow or finding the minimum effective volume or anything like that. It's about finding the threshold that switches it on, and then staying there for as long as that you don't get greedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's hard. I don't know the answer to that question, but I think there's always blocking periodization into phases is important, but you need to know how long to stay in that phase before you've reached the point of diminishing returns, so you can get out, because you've already you see what I'm saying? Because if you stay in it just a little bit too long, this is common for guys on courses of, anabolics. It's like, they think that if they stay on a little bit longer, it's like, dude, you're going to cause so many more problems if you need to get out at this, but I'm still making gains. Now is the time to get out, because that extra 1 or 2 weeks that you're on this is going to cost you an extra 3 or 4 months potentially downstream, because you were supposed to cash out at this time.
Yeah.
But if they get out too early, then it's like the elevator analogy. You press the button, no elevator. The body needs time for, oh, I get it. Boom, it flicks the switch, and now it's actually responding to the inputs. So it's hard to figure out what is the right amount of time. But typically, if you're making gains, you've been making gains for a bit and things are changing positively, just don't get greedy. Otherwise something's going to snap, a tendon's going to give, you're going to blow a pec, and God, how long is that going to take to recover from?
That brings me to a question on something.
Hold on 1 second. Ryan, would you mind turning the AC off? It's just getting pretty damn cold.
I was sorry to
interrupt. We can just pause for a second, because we'll just wait for Ryan to come back. That way he got the camera going and everything.
I've been getting a little chilly too, so thank you for saying that.
I started fidgeting a lot. I'm like, fuck, I'm getting cold.
I run hot, so it doesn't matter, but I'm weird like that.
You'll sweat right through it.
Dude, yeah. Hopefully this conversation's going, in a direction that's okay with you guys.
This is great.
Okay.
But
you're the man.
It brings me to another thing. Yeah, it's coming up.
It usually takes a little bit.
It'll be.
Look at Brian over there with his arms crossed. He's like, yeah.
All right, man. You know,
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You know, I'm curious about if anything is adjusted for you in terms of how you look at progressing when it comes to weights.
Okay.
Because I think you mentioned something earlier. You know, you got into lifting and you're like, you got a certain amount of strength and then you just want to see the weight go up. And that you mentioned that's where things kind of started to get harder for something. I don't know. You mentioned something, but when it comes to progressing with load, do you look at it differently than you did in the past? Let me just leave that question open-ended there.
Okay.
Look at it differently than you did in the past.
When it comes
to like progressing when it comes to strength.
Yes.
Is it load you focus on? What do you focus on?
I'm a big fan of step loading, and I'll tell you why. And it's because if let's say that you're doing, let's just use an easy example, 500-pound deadlift.
Yeah.
All right. You're doing fine. Most people, they like progressions that are like clean lines moving up and down. And so next week, they're going to add 10 pounds. Next week, they're going to add 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Next week, they're going to add 30 pounds. And it's just like, for me, I really like step loading, partly because I'm biased, because with acrobatic stuff, when you do a 540 kick, for example, next time you do it, guess what you're doing again? You're doing a 540 kick. You're not doing a 541 kick, an extra degree on a 540 kick, an extra two. It doesn't work that way. What happens is you get better at the kick. So next week, the quality is increasing. That's step loading. So you're keeping everything the same. Just because you've done a workout once doesn't mean it's not going to work again with the exact same loads, with the exact same loading. You get better at it. So when you start to actually get better at your workouts, then it's a different thing you're chasing. So I'm not chasing numbers at stuff. It's like, this is a good weight to work at. This is a good weight to get good at. So I'm going to make that weight move. I'm going to make this exercise. Everything's going to feel better. So I'm a fan of increasing the quality of the workouts.
Yeah.
And so after a while, when you've been on that step long enough, maybe you'll add some weight.
Did you come up with this step loading name, or is somebody you called this step loading before?
Oh, that's been around for a long time. Okay. I just don't think people do it.
Yeah.
I mean, Pavel talks about it. He's been Pavel's big on Satsalini. I'm sorry. I love the guy. I've listened to a lot of things. I read all his books. I can't say his last name. It's not Italian. Pavel is Italian. It's Satsalini. Yeah, no, he's big into step loading.
Yeah.
Like, I think step loading is one of the most underutilized forms of progression there is. But for a movement athlete that has like gross skills like acrobatics and stuff, it's one of the only choices you can. Because for good examples, like a corkscrew or a double corkscrew is a trick in acrobatics. You don't do like a little bit. It's like you just keep crashing a corkscrew until one day you can do a double cork. But how do you go from this point to this point?
You're like, oh, if I throw my elbow this way, then I can, right? Then I can do the movement better or whatever, right? You think of like that one little tiny thing that you can implement, right?
So let's imagine you had a fixed weights, 2 pairs. You have a 450-pound bar glued. You can't change the weight. And then you had a 700-pound bar glued. Those are the only 2 options. How do you do that? How do you pick up the 700-pound one off the ground if the only way to train is with the 450-pound one? That's what it's like to move from doing 1 spin to 2. You got to figure out how to get to 2 when there's nothing in between that you can work with.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm kind of biased and partial to step loading, because from the acrobatics background, you see how it works.
I'm so mad right now because we made a short on my YouTube on some of my YouTube videos. And I basically said some of what you're alluding to here. I'm like, after you train for like 5 to 7 years, that's kind of it. Like, you don't really get that much stronger. And when you do things like lat pull downs and tricep push downs, now you're just trying to work on doing those movements better.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
make them look easier.
People that have been lifting for 15 years aren't like tricep push downs and like writing it down and like keeping track and like, oh, look, I got a PR, you know, and I did, 2 extra reps on that movement. You can get that. I mean, you can work your way towards that, I guess, but I don't really know of anybody that does that, because usually the weights are very similar. There's guys like Ronnie Coleman and other athletes who've talked about doing the same workout for so long, same workout for like 30 years. If you look at Ronnie Coleman, he pulled like 800 something pounds. I think he did a double when he was deadlifting, and he was a couple weeks out from the Olympia. Well, he also deadlifted 800 pounds 10 years prior when he weighed like 60, 70 pounds less when he was a power lifter.
Mm-hmm.
So your strength, while it is important to like load the body and, overload the body, like it's critical. We know that we need that capacity. We need to be able to do that to challenge the muscles. But this idea that your muscles or that your body is going to continually get bigger and stronger all the time forever, it's just a myth. Like it's not going to happen.
Right.
You're not going to, just because you're hammering lat pull downs and you're hammering these different lat exercises, yes, your lat will grow, but at some point your lat is just going to be like, yep, this is kind of the size that we got to. And then from there, you're trying to just maintain and hold on to it.
Yeah.
I want to quickly add in, I think as we're talking about this, there might be someone who's like, it's because y'all are pussies. You know what I mean? Like you guys don't want to push low.
But it's a 24-year-old talking.
Right. But this is the way I think about it too. Cause like I do exactly what you're talking about. I do want to push myself, but I want to make sure that this movement quality is good. Even if I'm working with maybe the same weight, did it move a little bit faster?
Was it easier?
Right. And then that gives me the sign like, okay, let's bump it up and let's see if we can have this next weight be quality versus just like, I want to move that 300-pound sandbag. I want to move that. Like, I'm not just going to lift it. If I start lifting it and it's like, I can tell like, ooh, I'm holding my breath. The quality is not there. I'm going to put it down because those are the ways you injure yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still gain muscle while you're trying to push the load you're doing. If you just make sure that you're moving, that rep or those movements you're doing are quality repetitions.
Yeah. It's like what I just said is exactly what you said. It's like just because you done the workout once with the same parameters doesn't mean that it's not going to work again.
Mm-hmm.
Like just keep doing it. Like if you're trying to grow, like you're going to get feedback from this workout's easier. I don't need 3 days to recover from it. Now I need 2. Yeah. There's other things going on than just, I'm going to add weight.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the genius things of Jim Wendler's program, 5-3-1, is that you do the same workout for 3 weeks in a row. And you are lowering the reps, and you are sometimes utilizing a little bit more weight, but you do 5 reps one week, then you do 3 reps the next week, and you do 1 rep the next week, and it's all on the same exercise. So somebody like, it's interesting because when you try, some of the West Side Barbell stuff, there's like an adaptation that happens because you may not be used to some of the exercises. Your second week of doing a floor press is going to be stronger probably than your first week. Mm-hmm. Not just because maybe you lowered the reps, but just the adaptation of like getting used to that particular movement. So sometimes we do have, these new adaptations with a movement that you never tried before. And that's why I'm so into people trying shit that's new or different, because it's a way for you to like challenge your body in a slightly different way. And I'm not one of these people that it just thinks, you got to confuse the body and keep the body guessing necessarily. But
I got a question.
I think it is important to challenge the body and challenge yourself from different angles and with different movements.
And I got a question about that, because I think a lot of times people, when they change their program and then they start to see like positive changes, like, oh, wow, like this new program is working. It's not because the new program is working. It's because they made a change. And what they did before had time to, reduce fatigue baggage, or I think it's the change that mattered sometimes, not so much what you changed to. Do you agree with that, or am I wrong? Or
I agree with that a ton. I've always said that, the things that make a barbell great are the things that make a barbell also bad. And the reason
I never heard that like that.
Well, the reason the assistance exercises work so well is because of the fact that they're not barbell exercises. That's the only reason why they really work.
Yeah.
You don't really need them otherwise. Like, I don't think you really need them. I think you can bench, squat, deadlift, and do a couple of variations. If you're talking about straight up like powerlifting, I don't think you need a leg extension or a leg press, or I don't think you need a lot of those other things. They're helpful. They're useful. But I think, I think the fact that you're getting more volume in with your legs by doing the leg extensions, doing the leg curls. And so therefore you can build a bigger muscle, and therefore, a bigger muscle can be a stronger muscle. It might help with your leverages and stuff.
I'm just hearing Repetile saying, fuck that.
Right. But at the same time, those movements aren't necessarily going to be the key factor in you being able to squat more.
Yeah.
And we see that with some of these young guys that are starting to lift these weights. It's just astronomical what people are doing in powerlifting. Yeah. And primarily all they're doing is bench, squat, and deadlift. Mm-hmm. And they'll do all 3 of them like 3 times a week. And that blows my mind.
Yeah.
But it kind of shows you that, like, if you are going to use a barbell all the time, then you better know what the hell you're doing.
Right.
Because you're going to have to change the percentages so drastically. You can't lift heavy all the time with those movements. You'll just wear out your joints and tendons and ligaments and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I recently, there's the other thing that's kind of unspoken in this conversation. A lot of this is based on kind of like outcomes. You know, there's always that kind of lingering in.
Yeah.
I'm friends with Jen Thompson. She's, you know, one of the greatest powerlifters that have ever lived. And, you know, she lives about an hour from me. So I see her a couple times a year, do some workouts. And something that's really neat about her and her crew and what they do. And I'm going in, and this is typical of her. They're benchers. Yeah. They bench press. You know, and she'll be quick to tell you, like,
hey, hold on a second. Jen Thompson is not only a bench presser, she also squats and deadlifts.
Oh, yeah.
Very proficient at those.
You know why, though? Because the squat increases, you know, leg drive for the bench.
And helps the bench.
And helps the bench, yeah. And the deadlift, you know, increases, you know, the arch.
We do have to give her credit, though. She does compete in all three.
Yeah, she does. And she's phenomenal. And she's in her 50s, and she's still, like, so strong. In fact, I think she said she's the strongest. She thinks she's.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, her and her crew are amazing. But here's the thing: you see that picture right there? Yeah, look what's going on. There's something when you're around them, you start to kind of get it. Like, this is what they do, but bench press is like one of the ultimate social lifts. You know, you bench, you hang on the side of it. You're over here on the edge of it. It's just the whole thing. There's so much more going on than just like we're bench pressing. It's like they've kind of like worked into this, not only because she's good at it and she likes it, she's been doing it a while, but because it kind of works for her lifestyle. You know, it's a great thing to do with groups of people. It's a really social lift. So, you know, when you're looking for outcomes only in terms of biological or body changes, you have a little bit of flexibility to choose the modality that might be working for you better in a social aspect, or you know, look around you to see if there's groups that do this. So there's some flexibility in the thing that you're actually doing to build the body that you want.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you don't have to be a bench presser to do that, but she likes bench pressing. They're very social when they do it. And it's just, those are the things that are kind of happening.
I like what you're saying there. Like, there's like
three or four. I'm hanging over there.
Yeah. There's 3 or 4 other people like watching you. So it's not even just you trying to get better at the bench press. It's like everyone in the room has the same goal. They're all trying to get better at bench pressing. And that's what everyone's talking about. And that's kind of what everybody's focus is.
And you know, afterwards we all grill and barbecue, and she's got a lake, and you swim in a lake and stuff. And it's just a good time, you know? So, I mean, lifting and getting strong and stuff is fun. And you can pick something you got a couple options there. If they're both going to take you to the same place, pick the one that's a little bit better for your personality too, you know?
I think she competes at like whatever that weight class is, 130, 140 range. And I think her best competition bench is 314. If I got any of those numbers wrong, I'm going to hear from her and she's going to be pissed at me, but they're
amazing people.
That's approximately how much she lifts. And she does do bench press holds where her husband hands the weight out to her, and she'll
fuck that. No, I've hurt my elbow with them.
She holds like 500 pounds.
No, yes, she holds 500 pounds. Yeah. And like I'm holding that, my little elbow over here goes oops, and it hurts for 6 months. And she's doing the same weight as me.
Yeah.
And she's half my weight. That's how strong they are. But yeah, those heavy holds.
And she'll even hold it until her arms give out or something, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's done that before. I've watched it. They'll hold it and then it just drops into the safeties.
Yeah. That part's scary.
Yeah. But they're really sensible with their training. They have a little screen. They have a little screen of the spreadsheets. You can see they're putting their numbers in every week, and they just move it along. They do their training cycles, you know, week after week, year after year. She still competes all the time, and it's just part of who she is, and they love it. It's a great lifestyle they have.
Let me ask you this, man. Have you? And this is now like on an aside, but with all the tricking and the flipping and all these things you know how to do, you know how to throw kicks, you know, you're spinning a staff. I mean, I think I saw you doing some stunt stuff. Have you ever thought of doing stunt work or doing any of that type of work in Hollywood? Because like someone that's your size that moves that well is uncommon, right? It's an anomaly.
Well,
so,
not stunt work per se, because I know a lot of people that's been in the stunt industry, and it's pretty
injuries.
Hard. Oh my God, they don't get paid enough. Injuries, no. But as far as like being in a movie and doing some stuff, I'd be down for it, as long as it's not just like jump off this building or get kicked into a wall or something. Into a wall might be okay, but off of a building, no. But yeah, I would do some work with that. It'd be fun as long as there's a little bit more casting as me as part of it, not just like, a stunt double or something.
Exactly.
No stunt double work, no stunt work like that. No.
Good.
Yeah.
Is that something you want to do? You want to do that?
I would.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I want to do that. I'm not doing it because I'm not achieving my goals. But it's like if the option came up and it was fun looking, I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's see it. I'd like to be on a Netflix series or something as an episode.
Yeah.
I've known some friends that have been in some stuff.
How many bodybuilding shows did you do?
Only 2. But
and what are some things that you learned from that bodybuilding show? Maybe good and bad.
Okay. So here's the thing. Bodybuilders are going to hate me for saying this. They're going to hate me. But a lot of them are like, you quit bodybuilding. And I'm like, no, I didn't quit. I finished. I got what I needed out of it. I learned what I needed. I was glad that I went full send on it because I did. I stopped doing everything but bodybuilding for, I'm miserable. That's the point. Go back. You see my face?
Yeah.
Now I know why they look that way.
Death face.
Yeah. I know how they feel. So now I can empathize with them to some degree.
Oh, yeah. Look at those lines in the cheeks.
Dude, it's horrible. It's like, it's like you're watching your steps to make sure you don't go over 2,000 steps a day. I can't go get the mail in my mailbox because I now have enough calories.
Wonder
to
how
do that.
close to death you are when you
I don't know. I'm not healthy. I'm not happy.
range.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's
amazing the body can still be efficient though at those weights. Efficient-ish.
Well, the interesting thing is how much better you feel afterwards. Like you're really dead going into it, but about 3 or 4 days afterward, you're like, it's like it didn't even happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I was 245 right there on stage.
Wow.
So
you got lean.
I did learn. You asked me how I learned. What I learned, their process. I learned how bad they feel. I learned the troubles they have that people don't know what they're going through. So I can empathize with them and understand, like, this is why they're like this. This is why when they film the day in a life or the 6 weeks out or the 2 weeks out diet videos, that their house looks like a shithole because they don't have time to clean their house or the energy to clean their house.
Was this strenuous on your relationship with your wife or anything?
I think Sam is great.
I know from my wife.
Sam, my wife is awesome.
Did not
dude.
like me doing the bodybuilding show.
She was so supportive. She never complained once.
Wow.
That's cool.
No,
did you keep your sex drive in the end?
No.
Yeah, mine was gone too for a while.
Dude, it's so bad. Like 3 months without it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't there. I was like, holy shit, that's not normal.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it killed that. Some bodybuilders are fine. Some bodybuilders manage it. But for me, that was gone. I just didn't feel good, But I think I looked okay there.
What about in terms of like I guess what about in terms of like what you put into business and what you put into other things in your life? Do you feel like bodybuilding did anything with that? Because I think bodybuilding is really interesting where
that's a great question. These are really good questions.
You're responsible, 24/7. You know what I mean? And like you're not really that responsible in a lot of other sports 24 hours a day for how well you're going to do or how well you're going to look. But bodybuilding has that food component to it that makes it a little difficult. Do you think there was anything from bodybuilding that you were able to take into business? Because I've seen, the setup you have at your home. It looks like you're blessed and you're doing some really great things with your YouTube channel and stuff. And you have, looks like an amazing gym and property and all that kind of stuff. Do you think some of this work is something that you take into your day-to-day life and give a little extra oomph to?
So when I was in the thing is when you're preparing for a bodybuilding competition, the thing most people complain about is they're hungry, and that's bad. Don't get me wrong. The thing that I was complaining about is I didn't have the energy to do other things. I like to do a lot of things, man. They got mad at me for that, by the way.
Why?
When I went, because it's not allowed. You're not allowed to backflip. I misread the rules.
Wow.
Because they don't want people flipping with oil and
it's against the rules. You're not supposed to do that. The guy that ran the thing was like, I can disqualify you for this.
That's cool that you got it in.
And I said, I was like, so what do I do? And he just a long pause. He said, well, the crowd seemed to like it, and don't ever do it again. And that's all he said. So
should have just been like, Jujimufu.
Yeah, I just misread the rules. You're not supposed to do a backflip because someone died doing one a few years ago. Actually,
my god.
No, that's why it's a rule. But yeah, that was the thing that was the thing why it didn't really fit with my life. That's why I didn't continue with it, is because I didn't have the energy to do other things. I don't stop moving. You don't stop moving. We were talking about this earlier. I'm like a crazy man. I want to garden. I want to build a bunch of stuff. I want to run a business. I want to write books. I write a lot of programs. I want to do this with my business. Yeah. I want to come here and collab with you guys. I don't want to have to sit here and measure shit on a scale and Tupperware containers and stuff. I eat a protein bar with you or something, I can go to the grocery store and pick up some meals. It really it's so restrictive that it makes it really hard to do things. And I think this is why a lot of bodybuilders, while they're competing, have such a hard time doing other things like growing businesses, or they have a relationship issues, because it's really hard to do it that way and be able to do a lot of other things. So that was the reason why it was like, I understand what it is, but I'm done with it. So as far as competing goes, maybe in a few years, I'll just try it again for fun, but it'll be a lot different. I'll do it completely different. It would be like, oh, let's just jump into this show for fun real quick. It won't be like, I'm going to block off 16 weeks, or in that case, a year of my life, and go into the hyperbolic time chamber and nothing else. And which is what I did. And the second bodybuilding competition I did everything I could possibly. And I only gained 3 pounds of mass. Wow. So it's like I came into the second show 3 pounds heavier, but with so much health burden, my body didn't have the bandwidth. And so I was inflamed. I had allergic reaction from all sorts of things. I stepped on stage and people were like, dude put a bunch of site injection oil into his body, SEO. I was like, no, that was just an allergic reaction I had from being ill. Because it was so hard on my body to diet and do all those things. So it's hard, man. Bodybuilders, it's a tough sport. But yeah, does that answer your question?
It does. What about business-wise? Like, what businesses do you have? Because you came walking up and you showed us these jeans that you're rocking.
Yeah.
And so how do you make some dough over there?
So we make smelling salts. It's the world's best smelling salts.
Joe Rogan's show. I see that.
Yeah, that's been fun. That's a great moneymaker. It's the best one that's on the market. And then I just sell a bunch of flexible pants. I got into that about 10 years ago. So all the pants I wear, it's custom designed and made so that it's not just like something that some dude has this, apparel house and I stamp my logo on. It's not that at all. Like it's 1,000 unit minimum quantity for one colorway. So it's because it's all custom made and it's, made overseas, and it takes 6 to 8 months to get here. So yeah, all those pants products are you can't find anything like it.
You started your running today in your pants.
In the jeans?
Yeah, in the jeans.
Yeah, the jeans are flexible jeans.
Yeah, like
but,
pants.
I'm really I don't really have much branding. It's minimal branding. It's more functionally oriented apparel.
I'm going to get some pants.
Oh, dude, you'll love them. They're the best. Those have really high range of motion because everything I do is flexibility based right there. Sell some programs. I'm writing some more books and programs and stuff like that. I want to continue to write. I got a stretching app. So it's really what's the word? Can't think of the word.
Synergistic.
It's synergistic, but it's also kind of like, what is the word? It starts with a D. My brain's not working. I need another drink, I think.
It's like a wide portfolio.
Yes, it's a wide portfolio of inputs for the income. So
diverse.
Diversity.
There we go.
I'm sorry, I couldn't think of the word. I don't know why.
Diversity.
My brain isn't braining. Very diverse set of. I think it's the best because when your income streams are diverse, that takes pressure off of any one particular stream. So because I have these products that do very well, that gives me more ability to be a little bit more flexible with my YouTube content creation. So I don't have to depend on everything being super mega banana viral, as my team member Brian would call it. Things don't have to be banana viral because you have all these inputs, all these other streams of income because you're diversified, and that relieves pressure. So it's fun, I get licensing for some of the weird clips, like the chair split video I did has made me $100,000 in the past 10 years. That's about the amount of money. Yeah, that one video of me doing the chair split with a barbell has accumulated $100,000 over the last 10 years.
How did that happen? Is that just like a normal YouTube video, or is that like some other thing that I'm not aware of?
That's just that one.
It's just a YouTube video.
Yeah, it's just no, not that one. It's just the Instagram video I posted. That one.
It's an okay.
Yeah, it's that one. So the original clip, I licensed it to a licensing company, and what they do is they give me an 80-20 split. So as brokers.
That's a sick video.
That has been in the Google commercial. It has been in the Taco Bell commercial. It has been in different banking commercials. It's been featured all over in the last 10 years, it's just like it's couch money for me. Like some months it's like $150 comes in a bank account. And then sometimes it's been like $9,000 will pop in the banking account because they found a buyer that wanted to license it for use in a major ad campaign for a large company. So clips like that have accumulated some money as well.
You ever see the clip of Jean-Claude Van Damme doing it between two trucks or whatever?
Yes,
that was pretty
the
badass.
Volvo commercial.
Yeah,
they were trying to prove how good their engines were.
Right. That was killer.
Sync. Oh man, that was sick.
I don't even understand how the hell they shot that or whatever.
No, it's real.
It was fake, but it was.
No,
real.
it's not. It's not fake. It's real. That's just
kudos to him, man. That's fucking insanity.
Yeah.
When you do that chair split type deal, and you had 135 pounds over your head,
100 pounds, yeah,
100 pounds over your head,
had 100 pounds. Yeah, that's one of the hardest things that I've done.
Wow, look at these guys driving like that. That's fucking crazy.
It looks good, doesn't it? What a cool shot. I'd be in that commercial. Anyone want to? Anyone want to reproduce?
Are they
anything
driving
like
backwards?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're driving backwards. It's probably a safety thing. Just in case you don't want to run over Jean-Claude Van Damme, that wouldn't be good. You know, so Volvo probably he was probably okay with it. He's like, drive forward, I can do this. But Volvo is like, nope, we don't want to risk our image.
When you do a stretch like that, you do a movement like that, is it hard to hold it, or once you're there, you feel pretty locked in?
No, it's hard to hold. Yeah, it's an isometric contraction the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the splits, when you're deep into it, it's this weird balance of contracting and relaxing, because it's almost like balancing on something. But the balancing portion has a lot of strength activation.
Have you ever considered trying to go after like the world record held by RVD, the professional wrestler? I think
I beat it.
Oh, you beat it?
Yeah. Not only did I beat it, but I could have kept going up in weight, but I didn't care.
And you beat it a couple years back.
Yeah. In fact, he commented on my Instagram, I'd be like, good job. So he gave me his blessing. Like,
oh, sick.
Yeah, I did that.
And how much weight was that?
I think I did like 180, but the reason I didn't go higher is because actually I did it 4 times. I broke the world record 4 times and posted my favorite of the 4.
That's cool.
Yeah. So the one I posted was like the 4th time I did it because the first 3, like I didn't roll out of it as well, or I wasn't as enthusiastic. It just wasn't the clip, you know what I mean? But I actually did the movement right 4 times.
What was the record before?
Type in a Jujimufu Van Damme lift. The record before I think I broke it by like 10 or 20 pounds.
Wow.
I think the pro wrestler Rob Van Dam, I think he picked up like a 100-pound dumbbell while he was doing it.
Yeah,
I've seen this.
So that was like the 4th time I did it, because I wanted it just to look like a good clip. Like I had trouble getting into, like I didn't jump into the chairs correctly the first time, or I wasn't as deep as I wanted, or whatever.
I just don't even understand.
That's not that hard for me.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
your body can just do that.
Well, the thing is, like, look at this one in particular. This is things people don't understand about a movement like this. Look at what is supporting my calves. So the levers are completely different. I have support all the way up right below the knee.
I understand.
Okay, and the other thing is, because my toes are up, it's more hamstring instead of groin. And I'm strong. I have a good upper body. A lot of the guys that have tried this record, they're like 50 or 70 pounds lighter than me. They're more flexible, but they don't have that upper body strength that I have to be able to lift that dumbbell up off the ground. Because what is that, 180 pounds, Ryan? What did I put?
Oh, yeah, 180.
180. Yeah, I had to tape a bunch of plates to my 150-pound dumbbell to get it right. Yeah, but that's the difference. David Stay Flexi tried it, and he just didn't have I don't think he had the upper body strength to lift the dumbbell off the ground. So there's a lot of guys who are very flexible, but he also said his hamstrings, they're really hard on his hamstrings, but my hamstrings are so strong from powerlifting and strength training, it's no problem. Now, the other chair split video, the one with the barbell overhead, that shit's really hard because the only thing that my feet are on the chairs. So the levers are completely different. My feet are forward. They're on the chair itself, as for a different aesthetic that I was chasing.
So a lot more groin strain in that one?
Oh, yeah. It'll rip you in half. That's fucking hard.
Oof.
That's really hard for me to do. But and then you have the barbell overhead, which is completely different from just picking it up off the ground below you.
Do you share much? I haven't followed like your Instagram and stuff like that.
Can you do the share splits?
No.
Can you do the splits?
I don't think so.
I can get you doing the splits real quick.
The splits is something that I've worked on, and I think I could get there, but I wonder if it's just like I don't know if the benefit would outweigh the potential.
Like maybe overreaching, maybe a little bit.
I want, like, yeah, I let's just say we'll talk about it more. We'll talk.
Okay,
about it
I'll play around with you tomorrow a little bit.
We'll
See
mess
kind of
with it
where
in the
you're
park.
at.
We'll mess with it in the park.
I'm sorry I interrupted you, Mark. What did you say?
Oh, that's okay.
You asked me if I did this stuff.
Oh, I was gonna ask. Do you share personal stuff on Instagram, YouTube, that type of stuff, or do you pretty much just keep it to some of these like movement practices?
Personal, like how personal? I mean, I think that's there's a degree of personal there.
Yeah, I don't know, like anniversary with your wife or that kind of stuff.
So my wife doesn't like to be on camera. Sam has always not wanted to be on camera, so I just respect that. The first few years that we're together, I was kind of aggravated by it because I want to share. Like, I love this woman; she's great. I want to, but after a while, I was like, it's probably better that she's not on camera. So, I can't share that. I do. Me and my dad have a great relationship, so a lot of stuff we film together. There's some personal stuff there.
That's cool.
But yeah, I think it's just a degree of personal stuff. I don't know what else, how more personal you want to get, but it's just most of that stuff might be in like Instagram stories,
right,
stuff like that. Or if it's a really big deal, I post it in my Instagram feed. Like, I don't know, my cat died and fucking torn up about it. Who knows?
Yeah, you were mentioning to me earlier, and I think this is maybe possibly a good way to end it. But you were saying just how good you feel,
and
how
great.
excited you are every day. And you came here and you gave Nsima a big giant bear hug, and you did the same thing.
The fuck out of me.
I know, he squeezed the shit out of me.
I'm just giving you an adjustment, man.
I was just like, why are his
the
lats
adjustment
so big?
you don't need?
You're freaking jacked.
I'm happy, man.
Yeah. So why are you so happy? Why are you so fired up?
Probably because I exercise. I think it's a good life. Like, how many people do you know that don't work out or don't exercise or don't have this level of, this relationship with their body that, feel as good or as happy? I think it's non-negotiable. I think the good life is got some level of physical exertion, some sort of movement. It's just, I'm like, we're all dumb animals. We need to be walked. We're like dogs that need to be walked, I'm really good at exercising. I'm grateful that that was the thing that I focused on when I was 14 or 15 and I stuck with it. And it's really cool to live in my body. It's a really neat body to live in. Like, I could just do things, I guess. Like, I'm flexible. It feels good to stretch. I'm capable. I can move things around in my environment. I can come work with awesome people like you and hang just enough to where I don't, like on a treadmill today, I don't run, from the training that I do is smart enough to where I can participate in things like that without going, oh no, I can't do that. That's a blast.
Right.
That's so much fun, man. So of course, why wouldn't I be happy if, I have to be because I am because of that.
And the amount of people you've inspired, man, to move, right? I was just actually I saw a video from a coach. I think his name is Tarun, Tarun. But he's a very solid strength coach who can do a lot of things. He could do some flips and stuff. And he was saying, I'm happy I grew up. He mentioned 2 names, and then he mentioned Juji. And then it made me realize, oh shit, you've been on this for a long time where you've gotten a lot of coaches that are like doing a lot of you've inspired a lot of them too.
I didn't know that.
That's awesome.
Thanks,
dude.
Tarun.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
He's on Instagram, Ryan, if you're looking for him. But anyway, yeah. Inspired probably hundreds of coaches and thousands for sure.
I think it's a blast and it's worth it.
I was never even aware that people even move that way. How'd you get into this stuff in the first place?
Well, moving what stuff?
Your tricks and stuff like that.
Yeah, the tricking was something I found online. So that was the year 2000. So I was in Taekwondo. I started working out in 1999. That was the year I started working out. I got in Taekwondo, did martial arts. I thought I was a badass. I was like a purple belt. I'm like, I got an ego thing going on. Like, I'm fucking badass, dude. And then I see these tricking videos of these people online. My head exploded. I was like, I'm not cool. I'm not cool anymore. I want to do that. Those guys are cool. So then I just started studying videos, pause play on Windows Media Player with a space bar. Seriously, running my parents' backyard and chucking shit and running back in and going back and with a 56K modem, downloading these like 8 megabyte videos that took half an hour and sitting there pause play studying.
You remember some of those people that you watched?
Oh yeah. It was on a website that no longer exists. Billy Belong, a guy from Switzerland, had a website and he would post these videos because I don't know how he had them, honestly, but he posted that website's no longer there. but that had a small forum community. And then I opened a website called Tricks Tutorials in 2002. Whoa. And when I launched it, it was actually a really weird reason that pushed me to learn more moves. Is like, I couldn't find tutorials for these moves, man. I was like, nobody's teaching this stuff. I need this. So I guess I'll be the one to do it. So my motivation to learn the moves was so that I could post tutorials and have, like, I wanted 25 of them with just some arbitrary number as a 15-year-old kid. I want 25 tutorials. So I need to learn this many moves. So, you know, I'm studying all these moves. I post all these videos, these tutorials. I launched a website. I put a little forum, and the forum exploded. Like, all these people rushed in. It's like, it's some success. I honestly didn't deserve it. Yeah. And we had a community of like 10,000 members on active members on a forum when it finally closed in 2009. When I shut down, we had a lot of, this was before social media, and people were organizing gatherings and get-togethers and shooting videos and sharing stuff back and forth. It was a crazy, awesome, good community. But yeah, it started with me just like, nobody's doing this. Make these tutorials so other people will learn it. And then it became its own thing. And that's what these moves came from and how I got into it and then connected with other people. I think being part of a community is very, very important. I think social media is kind of an odd fragmentation of it, but it still serves a purpose in that regard. But I think people need to connect with other people, DM them, show up, go places, come to seminars, go to workshops, compete, anything. You just need to go out there and work with other people in something that is interested. I mean, this is the first time I've actually collabed with people with Ropeflow. I came over here to shoot with Weck in San Diego and Chris Chamberlain. And it was great to finally, like, I've been practicing and connecting with people through Ropeflow for the past couple of years, get some coaching online from a guy named Alpaca Flow. He's great. Yeah,
he's really good.
He's the dude is smooth. He's great.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to really collab or work with people in person. But no, I'm coming over here and I got some guys teaching me some stuff in the gym, and such a good experience. So I think people need to go work with other people and get out there, because that is really like, it's going to give you a lot of, like, I don't want to use the word motivation or drive, but it's going to make you really excited. Yeah. And that's going to really help you. Like, it's so much easier to get better at something and get healthy and better results if you're excited about it and having fun. And a lot of that comes from making friends.
And this is one of the first places you came to collab in the beginning, right?
Dude, you have no idea what kind of good impression you left on me, because I was just getting started. And then you reached out to me and you had a limo pick me up at the airport, man. I was like, I was just getting started. You had a limo pick me up. You put me in this really cool, neat little hotel thing. This is all new to me. Like, I'm some kid from Alabama, you know what I mean? And then you brought me in, you put me on a podcast, you shot some videos. Dude, we went to a grocery store and you bought a bunch of pizza ingredients and you took me to your house and you made homemade pizza. I still remember, I was taking notes in my notebook. A lot of the conversations we had, I still remember a lot of the notes, man. You really, it meant a lot to me, Mark. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're a badass dude. You're a really good force in this world, and definitely, obviously, in fitness, but in this world, you're just a great positive force. And it's exciting to watch you explore things, to go head deep into them and just share things with the world. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Jujimufu.com. Instagram is @Jujimufu. YouTube is @Jujimufu. That's good enough.
I hate to actually mess with our ending here, but where did the name Jujimufu come from?
Some shit a 13-year-old kid made up.
Yeah.
AOL.com. Remember AOL?
Yeah, I remember AOL.
My screen name was John Call 13. Well, that was 13 was my age.
Yeah.
I turned 14 years old. I was like, well, I need to make a new screen name now. I don't want to be John Call 14, because then I'll have to change it again when I'm 15. So I was like, I need a cool name. So then I started typing in Goku, Piccolo, Dragon Ball Z names. And you type in Piccolo on AOL, it's like Piccolo 309,761. So I started, fuck, man, everything's taken. Yeah, all these users. And I sat there for half an hour, and I still remember it. I was sitting there, and it's like I saw myself in third person for a 14-year-old kid seeing themselves in third person going, I'm wasting a lot of time here trying to think of a screen name. Just pick something. Jujimufu. Just log me in. It just logged me in. I was like, I guess I'm Jujimufu. And the thing is, I started using that screen name to communicate with people on forums, and then I got stuck with it.
It's a good name. It's a great name.
Strength is never weakness. Weakness never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye.
That's a wild story.
What, the name story?